This will be fine. Every excuse to stare at the lake. Hey everyone, I'm Kit. This week, Creature and I are going to spend 2 nights up around Cascade River State Park. I am so psyched for this trip because I managed to snag a highly desirable backpacking site reservation last minute. This trip is going to have just a little bit of everything. State park site, Lake Superior, view of Cascade Falls, cedar forest, an SHT campsite, and even what, here on the North Shore, passes for a mountain. We've got just a little bit further to go and might be hiking in the very dusk, but can't wait to be there. All right, we are at our trailhead, which for this trip is the group camp parking lot. And for tonight, we took off right after Creature got off work, so we've arrived just a little after 8. Just a little bit of light left in the sky, and we have about a mile to hike out to backpacking site 1 through Cascade River State Park. So, not a lot of time. We need to get loaded up and get moving. What do you think, Creature? Ready for lake? Yeah. Okay. We're here, and we've just gotten onto this trail. We're gonna take that right turn, take this out, and our site is right here. Okay. Yeah. You may have noticed we're both carrying gear you haven't seen us carry in a hot minute. We both have our close cell foam pads with us. I've only seen 2 different trip reports for hammock campers for this site. And one said, absolutely not able to hammock here. And the other one said, oh, I hammock here all the time and sometimes we have 2. So just to be on the safe side, we brought our foam pads. There is a shelter at this site. So if we can't sling up our hammocks, we'll still have some pretty superior protection. But regardless, I was desperately craving some time on the lake. So this is the way we're gonna get it. All right, we are already most of the way there. We've been hiking fast because due to the gorgeous lush growth and the much needed rain we got over the past 24 hours, the bugs are out in force. So we're not entirely successfully attempting to outrun them. Should be clearer once we're out in the open by the lake. All right, we've got a highway crossing up ahead, so let's see how they've got that worked out. Yep. We're gonna have to go for it. This will be fine. We survived the highway crossing.
We win at Frogger.
Woo! And ahead, I see the lake through the trees.
I do too.
We've arrived at camp, just as it's getting well and truly dark. I'm gonna follow Creature on down to the actual shoreline.
Whoever it was that this is their favorite hammocking spot, I'm not sure which spots they've found, because in theory we could make a trunk of each of those 2 trees over there work for 1 person. But they're a bit thin for us to tandem hang. And unless we go like off into the brush over on that side, I'm not seeing a good spot. So in the shelter it is.
Yep, we can make it work.
Yeah.
And we can come down here for a beautiful, beautiful breakfast time. Come on, tiny repeller. Works so good. Works so good for us. The shelter is up in the trees, so full of bugs right now, but hoping that this works out, because figuring out how to string bug nets in here for ground use is not something I want to do if I can avoid it. Guess who's gone to ground and bug biddies? It's us. This is a less than ideal night, but we're just gonna get through it, and I guess I'll see y'all in the morning and let you know how it went. Good morning, everyone. We had a less than ideal night, but frankly it was better than I feared it would be as we were settling down to sleep. The mosquitoes were very thick inside of the shelter in particular, and the tiny repellers seemed to thin out their numbers somewhat, but absolutely not enough to sleep without the bug nets. So Creature and I got very creative and very flexible and rigged up basically just our hammocks across the ground using some of the hooks in the shelter. I got a little creative using one of my trekking poles as a sort of support pole to help keep me from getting tangled as I got in and out of the hammock system. And while the CCF pads were definitely not enough for super comfortable sleep, we definitely stayed warm enough. I frankly got more sleep than I expected. So while I'm definitely headachy this morning and just a little bit stiff in some joints, it's going to be a less rough day than I feared it would be. I do think that it's possible this site may have been more hammockable in seasons with less fierce undergrowth. Some of the trees around the area might have been more accessible, or it might have just been past year's trees that are no longer here. It's a little hard to tell. I would be willing, I think, to come back, even if I had to go to ground again in a season with less bugs, just for access to this rock beach.
You may remember last time I managed to get some pretty good blisters on just like a mile hike in, which I was pretty downhearted about because my shoes are topos and the extra cushioniness of them is really good for my feet because my feet get sore really easily without a lot of support. And I relaced them using what's called a runner's lock, basically to put some extra tightness around the collar of the shoe without having to try and like size down, because they are the correct size. I was just having too much slip in the heel. And it worked perfectly. Like, there's nothing on the backs of my heels. I'm really happy about it.
I'm so glad. I know managing foot pain of various kinds has been a huge hassle for you with backpacking. So.
Yeah, like the rest of me won't be tired at all, but my feet will be killing me, and it's really difficult.
I always struggle with egg texture with these things, so I'm curious.
Yeah, when it's this much egg, like most of this in here is egg texture, so if it's awful, it's gonna be really awful, but it smells good at least. So the flavor's not bad. The eggs are kind of leathery.
Yeah.
But like, it's freeze-dried, rehydrated egg mix. Like, it's genuinely not bad. It's just not something I would seek out if I were not in the middle of the woods.
Well, you're right, it does smell good. Okay, that's not horrible. Yeah, I could eat this.
Yeah, and like for a scrambled egg meal, that's pretty high praise, frankly. Like, we sound very lukewarm about it, but like, it's genuinely not bad.
So many inedible scaramouches. So.
Yeah. So yeah, this gets a pass.
Yeah.
Mandatory toes in the lake time, which is chili.
Almost lost your cap to the lake.
Yeah, I mean, I probably could have grabbed it, but I don't really want to jump in, so... I've been chosen by the bee people today. Hey, little guy. I'm not a flower, but you're cute.
Sleepy kid. All tuckered out. If I had a hammock spot, I would nap so hard right now.
The lack of the hammock spot being, of course, why you need to nap so hard right now. But we're gonna fix it.
I'm proud of how we managed, but it was not ideal. I am not well suited to be a ground dweller.
That's okay. We'll get back in the trees soon.
Despite my complaints, this was actually a very nice little shelter. There was just enough space for our two pads side by side. It's got a nice big overhang, so I would feel very sheltered if there'd been heavy weather. I just wouldn't want to sleep here again inside of bug season. And if I came back here planning to sleep in the shelter, I'd probably pack my more cushiony air mat rather than just the CCF pad.
All right, all set?
I'm all set.
All right, here we go.
Alright, there's where we came from. And here's where we're going, paralleling the lake until we get to the mouth of the Cascade River. We found a little branch trail back down to the lake shore, so we're sitting on some of the big granite rock outcroppings for a little bit of a foot stretch break and second break. Haven't made it far at all, but today's all about angling. There's two of them. Yeah, I was gonna say, there's a bench. Want to sit on the bench? Okay. Every excuse to stare at the lake. Bench and view. Taking a full packs off break at one of the picnic sites. We are probably 2/3 of the way to the river mouth now. We're getting just a teeny bit of rain. Just hope it stays light. Alright, the rain did stop. I did go ahead and eat my lunch to see if that helped perk me up any. We're gonna linger, but not too long because it is already almost 2. And we still have to get to the river and then turn and go up a good little ways before we make it to camp. We gotta say goodbye to the lake. Talking about overgrown. Whew. Not too many spots like that, but a lot of spots just wading through plants. There's a trail under there for sure, but boy howdy. Alright, we are getting very close because I can kind of see the water motion of the river outflow down there. Since the picnic area, it has been intensely overgrown, occasionally minorly confusing sections of intense woody rockiness. We'll move on in just a moment. It was a little interesting to get across the road, but we made it.
The ferns are almost as big as me.
They sure are, babe. All right, this is what the riverside hiking is like. Stairs defeated. Wife adorable. Trail that way. Once I catch my breath. Hey, that was definitely worth all those stairs to see. Ooh.
Why does the river look like root beer? The brown water and foam make the Cascade River look like root beer. Is the river polluted? No! There are 4 exclamation points. The brown color comes from the water that drains out of the swamps and bogs into the river. The decaying organic matter in the swamps and bogs creates humic acid. This is what colors the water brown. The foam comes from the water tumbling over the rocks and waterfalls. The aerated water with the humic acid and natural organic matter causes the foam. Some of the dark color comes from the iron deposits located along the river's course. How do we know it's not pollution? Because there isn't any development along the 17 miles of the Cascade River. The root beer look of the Cascade River comes from all natural ingredients.
It just keeps cascading. Like this thing does not stop. Wow. Did I get you a good river? You look like some kind of forest ninja. That, my friends, is part of the Sawtooth Mountains range. Not much on the scale of mountains, but they're very old, they're very tired. They can be worn down if they want to be. I find this very relatable. Oh. Suddenly along a ridgeline. Wasn't expecting that.
Behold our perilous water crossing.
As reported as normal, Trout Creek is dry. But camp should be just on the other side of it, and the Cascade River just beyond for water. We did it. Trout Creek Camp. Alright, welcome to camp. We've got the dry Trout Creek behind me, Cascade River right over there, and an absolutely heavenly grove of old cedars to choose from for hang spots. Hello, beloved. Okay, it took a couple tries, but we finally have both of the hammocks situated, and I am just gonna lay here for a minute. We ended up doing fractionally shy of 3 miles total based on my GPS track. It felt like a lot longer than 3 miles. I know I've mostly just been doing short hikes this year, mostly because of my health, but this was an intense short hike. It had a lot more overgrowth and like uneven, rooty, rocky trail surface and surprise steep grades than I was expecting. I sure got my money's worth out of those 3 miles. And it's really nice to have done that, especially after a night of bad sleep, and arrive at such a lovely campsite. All right, it's time for dinner, and we both packed comfort foods. Creature did fettuccine alfredo, and I brought pizza. We were finishing dinner cleanup right as the bugs started coming out. So it's only 7:30, but we are both tucked cozy inside of our hammocks. Creature is knitting, and I think I heard her singing a little. I think I'm gonna enjoy my book for a while. Maybe knit a little bit myself, we'll see. But mostly just relax and enjoy the beautiful view and being so comfortable in my hammock. Today was definitely an interesting hike. I was just reviewing our distance, and definitely part of what made us take so long as I counted 8 different tiny spurs we went on for lake views and overlooks, especially good looking rest spots, in addition to all of the breaks right on trail we took for sore feet or being out of breath from all the stairs. It's kind of interesting. Yesterday was just kind of meadow hiking and getting in as fast as possible. Today was following waterways, first the lakeshore and then the river. And tomorrow, if we're both feeling good in the morning, is going to be highlands hiking. Just getting a little bit of everything on this trip. Right as I was getting sleepy cozy, a couple of raindrops fell. Stopped even while we were dashing around to pitch tarps, but we decided to play it safe and go ahead and get them up anyway, just in case the forecast continues to bamboozle us. Today just had to throw one last thing at me, huh? Good morning, folks. We have both been so cozy in our hammocks. If you disregard the startle up for tarps and whatever midnight bathroom trips may have been made, we have been in them for over 12 hours, and we don't really want to get out. I dragged my bear canister and stove back over here to make myself some breakfast in the hammock. Really loving using the table that Turtle got me for doing that. Creature is still just sleepily stirring around in her hammock, but that's okay. We had a rough day yesterday and the day before, so I'm making the decision, for me for right now at least, that we are taking it easy for the moment and taking the next steps when we're ready. We have spent a very slow morning enjoying camp and a good place to rest. Between that and me having a flare-up of my digestive issues, we're definitely decided we're not going to push extra for the mountain today. We have had enough challenge on this trip so far, so we're going to continue slowly packing things up and then eventually head out on a more direct route back to the car. Still should be plenty beautiful because everything in this park has been gorgeous so far. That did take a huge chunk of the day, but I feel much better having done that than having rushed it, so it'll be a much more enjoyable hike that way. You're clipping up and almost ready?
Yep.
All right then. We'll get an overlook. We're gonna go down this purple to here, and then come down here, come across and then do that tiny little bit of road walking. We're parked right here at group camp parking.
Okay. So
that's
like 0.8
0.8
plus question
A mile.
mark. So yeah, roughly
Ish.
a mile. All right, we'll survive.
You want to take the lead or should I?
I'm feeling relatively sprightly right now, so let's ride that while we've got it.
Okay. What? And here I was thinking, oh, it's a nice open sunny meadow hike. Oh, I think we're turning right here.
It looks like we want this one.
Oh, no, you're right.
This.
We want to go left and then right. I forgot about this intermediate intersection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Left, and then it looks like
Right
not
very
very
soon.
far, and then turning right.
And then another left. Okay. All right. We are already probably about halfway there.
Yeah, much faster with it.
Even though I'm moving very slow, I'm not quite at concussed snail speeds, more like stumbly kitten. So, sleepy kitten.
Little triangle tail poked out and everything.
Yeah, the kinds that can't go 2 steps without tumbling. So, but we're making it, and it's this cross middle section of path has been very wide, relatively quite flat, actually mown,
Yeah.
open meadow forest kind of trail, which is lovely and very nice for we overdid it, exit out to parking.
Butterfly.
Yeah. You're such a happy little creature. Hello, beautiful car. I'm so happy to see you. Yay. Okay, we made it.
Yeah, we did.
We're alive. We did just under 6 miles all told over this weekend. We would have done more if we'd actually done the mountain, but
Yeah.
I'm content with the level of challenge we set ourselves for this big hike.
Like, just neither of us generally feeling the greatest after last night. Like, I think it was the right call.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful place, so I'm really excited to come back later and then do this mountain.
Yeah, it was an absolutely gorgeous park. Even the overgrown trails were well maintained in that there was a clear trail path underneath. It wasn't melting away into the ground.
Yeah, like you
It's
could
just
tell a trail was there. It was
Insane
just-
summer growth happening.
Yeah.
And all the infrastructure was in reasonable enough condition.
Yeah. Overall, I feel like I'm really getting my gear dialed in, and I'm really happy with how just like a simple modification to the way I'm lacing my shoes made it so I really feel like I'm getting the most out of my topos. And they've been really good for me up until they started chewing the back of my feet up. So that's a relief.
I'm really glad you sorted that one out.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm with my gear. I'm honestly delighted with my first attempt at emergency go to ground, and it gave me more ideas for how I could improve the system in the future.
Yeah.
But I did not expect my CCF pad to perform that well, honestly. So,
Yeah, mine was not up to the same standard. That was a rough night of sleep.
yeah.
But we still managed the longest hike of the trip after that night of sleep, so
Yeah. And this is our longest trip this year.
yeah.
I am very tired, so we should get home and recuperate so we can plan more.
Yes.
All right.